All right, so here we go. We're going to talk about market manipulation. And a little bit later in this video, I'm going to talk to you about what the Ethereum co-founder, Lubin, says about what his thoughts are on this whole market manipulation thing. So stay tuned for that. Bitcoin price drop from $20,000 likely due to market manipulation. This is the news that came out yesterday, and I think this is actually, I'm going to give you my opinions on this article, but I'm also going to tell you towards the end of the article why I think this is actually probably going to be extremely good news over the coming months. So let's just take a quick read through. In fact, this article in some ways made me more bullish on the short term to medium term of Bitcoin probably than anything that I've read lately, and I'll explain that here in a moment. It says since December 17th, Bitcoin price has been on a continuous downcline, falling from 19,000 all the way down to 5,000 at its yearly low. While the Bitcoin price has seen two midterm recoveries and corrective rallies, both failed to test two major support levels at 12,000 and 10,000. Market manipulation theory. Recently, a group of cryptocurrency researchers and traders suggested that the Bitcoin price has begun to fall from its all-time high at around $20,000 on the same day the Bitcoin futures market of CME and CBOE launched. So the tie and a correlation there. The group of traders claimed that through the futures market, institutional investors and large-scale retail traders manipulate the market to cash out short contracts by purchasing and selling massive amounts of Bitcoin in a correlated manner. Bitcoin reached an all-time high December 17th, the exact date that CME futures trading began. In retrospect, it is now obvious that smart institutional money was stocking up before that date. Hindsight is 2020. Bitcoin has been in a bear market. The remainder of this analysis will focus on the patterns observed during the market downturn as well as signals for when it might come to an end, the group said. It added that every time the cryptocurrency market experienced a correction, the magnitude of the drop declined, proposing that the large-scale investors had less amounts of Bitcoin before driving major corrections. The group emphasized that the cryptocurrency market experienced three major corrections since December 2017, and two subsequent correlations recorded lower sell volumes. Not only is selling volume lower, but the drops have been less severe. Each component of each leg is less steep than the previous leg. RSI, a movement indicator, also shows selling has been less extreme. The trend is flattening out, and they kind of show this chart here. Let me just say before I continue, I still am skeptical that there's been any major collaborative efforts to manipulate the market totally. I mean, I'm not oblivious that it couldn't happen, but I'm skeptical because now if there's a single bank or a single hedge fund manager doing it, then I'm more likely to believe that. But to think that people whose primary motives are to earn profits are able to benevolently stick together without one screwing the other one over, I just find that difficult to believe. Look, if you know you're in a partnership with just three people, and two of them, along with you, are supposed to be shorting the market, but you know that you can actually make money by going the other way, why would you not? I mean, how would you not go the other way? The rewards would just be entirely too tempting. But let's continue reading. As seen in the chart above, okay, blah, blah, blah. Validity of the theory. This is very interesting. I actually found this the most interesting part of the entire article. In 2008, CNBC Mad Money host and fund manager Jim Cramer emphasized that it is relatively easy for large-scale investors to manipulate the stock market, which has significantly deeper liquidity than Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. It's a fun game, and it's a lucrative game. You can move it up and fade it. That often creates a very negative feel. So let's say you take a longer-term view into your day, and I'm going to boost the futures. And then when the real sellers come in, they're going to knock it down, and that's going to create a negative view, said Cramer. CNBC Fast Money host Melissa Lee raised a similar point on May 25th show, as she noted that banks and institutions have colluded to manipulate LIBOR, L-I-B-O-R, among other assets, interest rates, and commodities. It is entirely possible that the premise established by the group of cryptocurrency traders is correct, and that large-scale investors have in fact manipulated the cryptocurrency market. But if it has been the futures market that affected the price of Bitcoin over the last 5 months, it's completely legal to do so, and it remains unclear whether similar manipulation strategies can be prevented in the long term. Okay, so this actually, I agree 100% with this last paragraph. It's entirely possible, but it's not illegal. here's the problem with people calling for regulations. You can't as easily invite regulators in as you can invite them out. I mean, as you can prevent from inviting them in. So it's easier to keep them out by just not, the regulators go where the market wants them to go most often. So if people are screaming for regulation, then ultimately the market's going to get regulated. And if it gets regulated, they don't regulate in the way that you want them to regulate. They regulate in the way that is politically expedient. They regulate in the way that is corporately funded. They never regulate for the average person. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was created for the average person. And I think that people just miss that. People always want a leader. They always want to be protected. And it's unfortunate because historically, it's been the leadership, the political leadership, the ruling class, historically most often, that has caused every major downturn to civilizations and, any sort of developed societies. Yet, here we are, in North America and in Europe asking for help from regulators. Oh, we got a problem, you got to fix it. They're not going to fix it in the way that you want them to fix it. There's a reason Bitcoin was created. Satoshi Nakamoto, if you go back to the very premises, the whole idea was to create some sort of a currency, digital, transportable currency that could not be stopped, that could be trustless, decentralized. The whole purpose was to prevent centralized authority from having say-so over it. It's an interesting article. Now, here's why I told you I would tell you why I think this is huge. Manipulators can't keep the market down forever. And most often when I've seen this in the past, what would happen is it would depress the market. But eventually, if that's all that's depressing the market, and I'm skeptical, but if that is all that's depressing the market, sooner or later, the market rebounds and they don't have any more money, basically, to short the market because they've already made their profits, and ideally or whatever. And typically when the market gets pressed down on that, at some point it pops back up. It doesn't mean that it can't do another massive pullback at some point in the future. However, for those people that are hodling Bitcoin, or you're still buying Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general, like I'm still an investor. I make investments every single month. That's not financial advice, by the way. Don't be stupid and follow my advice alone. Do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. However, I believe if that's the only thing holding the market down, then we're going to see another rally sometime in the third quarter of this year, maybe the fourth quarter of this year, if this in fact is true and is being manipulated in this way. But time will tell. We'll wait and see. In the meantime, the technology is solid. This is nothing but, short-term changes, short-term manipulation. Long-term, they can't stop the technology. They can't stop mass adoption. They can't stop, people using blockchain and Bitcoin. And ultimately, mass adoption and the use cases is what's going to drive the market forward. So thank you so much for watching. My next video, I'm actually going to go into details about what Ethereum co-founder had mentioned about. I'm running out of time with this video. I don't want it to be too long. So my next video, I'm going to talk about what the co-founder of Ethereum has said about market manipulation. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to watch my next video. Subscribe, hit that like button. Thank you so much.